Howdy ho, friends and foes. Welcome back to Wattpad Wednesdays. Today, I thought we would talk about how to get more Wattpad reads, because if you've written on the platform, then you know it's very competitive. I am here to tell you how I achieve getting my reads, the things that I think are most important to really growing your stories. My first tip, a very controversial one. Is this distracting? Well, it's gone now, so it's not distracting anymore. My first tip, do read for reads. Do them. Do read for reads. Search out those read for read books, leave your comments, reply to comments, find those people who are looking to do the same thing that you are. The argument that I always hear against read for reads is that it doesn't create a genuine reader base and you're just getting someone who's going to scroll through a few chapters, but they're not going to stick around, they don't care about your updates, they don't add it to their library, etc., etc. And I will say, that's probably true. That's probably true. You're probably not going to gain a genuine reader from read for reads, just like how when you read the other people's story, you're probably not going to stick around on their book either, because you guys are probably just doing it because you want to boost those numbers. But that's the thing. Even if that person does not become a genuine reader of yours, they've boosted your numbers. How many times have I said numbers? A high number of times. When your numbers are boosted, as you probably know if you're a reader on the platform, that makes other readers more likely to click on your story, because we trust other readers. If you're on your homepage and you're looking through the recommended stories and you see a story with 150 reads versus a story with 1,500 reads, while it's not that big of a difference, I would bet that you're more likely to click on the one with 1,500 reads because you see that other people are more interested in it. You think if this has more reads, then it's probably a better quality because people are obviously enjoying it, they're sticking around, they're scrolling through the chapters. When I was posting for clubs, I did read for reads all the time because I knew that the higher the numbers got, snowball effect. People talk about the snowball effect on Wattpad, and some say that it's not that extreme, and I actually agree with that. It's not that extreme. My most popular story right now has 231k reads, I think. It's been loitering at that number for a long time now. Like, that girl is stuck. She's not going anywhere. But when I was working extra hard to get reads for 4 of clubs, I definitely noticed the snowball effect. And I think it takes place more so between that region of like 5,000 to 50,000 reads. I would say that that is the sweet spot for the snowball effect. Maybe even 5,000 to 100,000 reads. You're really gonna get people who see, okay, your story has surpassed 5,000 reads, it must be good, it must be decent. Because if you look at the Wattpad stats, I saw this a long time ago, I think it was something crazy like 95% of Wattpad stories have less than 100 reads. So if you have over 100 reads, consider yourself a champion. That was really cheesy, but do it anyways. You have to understand that you are already doing better than so many of the stories that are on Wattpad. And readers will see that, and there comes a certain respect with those numbers that makes them more likely to click on your story. So don't knock read for reads because they boost your numbers. They get your reads up, and more reads equal more reads. Does that make sense? I think so, personally. Plus, just because it's less likely that someone that you meet from read for reads is gonna stick around in your story, it is not impossible, and it's honestly not even that unlikely. I've gotten a decent amount of readers from read for reads who stuck around, and on top of that, I've made friends on the platform from read for read. That's probably how I met 90% of the people that I consistently talk to on the platform. So yeah, I would say definitely at least give read for reads a good shot, because they have a bad rep that I don't really understand. My second tip for getting more reads on Wattpad is be active on the platform. Be active. Activia. Be active on the platform. I don't just mean on your stories either. What I mostly am referring to is if you are a reader on Wattpad, be a vocal reader. Do not be a silent reader. If you're already a reader on Wattpad, that is an opportunity to lure in, I hate that word, lure help.
It's lure.
To lure in readers who will come across your comments and maybe click on your profile. If I'm reading a Wattpad story and I'm looking through the comments and somebody comments something really funny, I'm very likely to click on their account because I'm like, who is this clown? I want to get to know this funny person. I want to see if they have other funny things in their profile. Or if I find that somebody is commenting something that I really agree with and I'm like, yes, speak the truth. Go off, queen. I am likely to click on their profile because I know that they have the same sort of opinions when it comes to reading that I do. So I want to see if they've written anything because chances are I will probably like it. Also, as an author, when I see somebody commenting on my story consistently, I will look at their profile. That stands out. And if you are a small reader on Wattpad, getting attention from a larger author, monumental. A lot of traffic can come from that. So if you're being a genuine reader on this person's story, they will see that and they will most likely go to your profile. If they see your story and they like it, congratulations, you have just acquired not only a new reader, but a reader with some influence on the platform, shall I say. Readers respect their opinion because they like their stories. So if they see this person who's writing that I like likes this person's writing, let me go check out this person.
I'm a frog.
Okay, tip number 3. My hand looks weird. Ew. Tip number 3. This one definitely gets talked about a lot, but it's important. Have a good cover, have a good title, and have a good description for your story. My best advice for covers on Wattpad would be try to fit in with other popular titles in your genre. If you do not like to make your own covers or you feel like you have a lot of work to do before your covers really make your story shine, check out cover shops. You can just search in the Wattpad search bar, cover shop, graphic shop. People usually have really reasonable prices for making you a cover. They usually just want you to check out one of their stories and leave like 2 or 4 comments. Very reasonable for like a banger cover that is gonna boost your reads so much. For picking a good title, make sure that it relates to your story and that it kind of fits in with the rest of your genre and it fits the mood of your story. Like with my story Opposite Day, that title was so easy to pick because the girl has a day where everything in her life is the opposite. It's a fun title for a fun book. I wouldn't have named it like 24 Hours of Despair. It wouldn't fit. People would be clicking on it expecting probably a thriller or something really dark, and that's not what it is. So make it fit your story and your genre and you're good to go. Last but not least in that little sub list of tips, description. Some people like to make their descriptions like just a quote from the story or like a definition of a word or something real short and sweet that will intrigue people and get them to click. That's okay, but I think basing your description off of the way that descriptions are written on stories that are on the paid list or on the editor's pick list, I would say that that works the best. Because you know that these stories are getting reads, you know that the Wattpad staff is looking at these stories and being like, yes, this is good. If you use those as a template for your own story descriptions, that can really benefit you. People are gonna see that your description is similar to the really respected stories on Wattpad and they're gonna be like, this person seems to know what they're doing. Let me check it out. Also, I would say with descriptions, most of it should be about the external plot of your story, you know, the juice, the stuff that really draws in the readers for that entertainment value, rather than the internal struggle that your character goes through that is probably the more important part of the story, but isn't necessarily the most entertaining part. Sort of my last tip, which I feel like is one that a lot of people might not know about. If you want to get more reads, complete your story. I know you want the reads to come in while you're writing it, but complete your story. Completed stories always see a spike in reads after they are marked completed because readers have a fear of abandonment. Because as I'm sure that you have experienced on the platform at least once, you fall in love with the story as it's updating, you're obsessed with it, you keep coming back for those updates, and then one day, poof, the author has just disappeared and they never come back. And readers hate that, and they want to click on those completed stories rather than incompleted ones because they know they don't have to worry about that. They can read the whole story in one day and not worry about never knowing how it's gonna end, etc. Yada yada. So yeah, don't worry so much about getting reads while you're still in the process of writing, because when you complete your story, that is when you will see the most growth in your reader base. And finally, a tip that isn't really a tip, but is more so a piece of advice. What did we learn from last video? What did we learn? That's right.
Nobody said anything.
Don't self-advertise. Don't self-advertise. Don't do it. Don't. I know that you might be tempted. I know that you think that posting your story on the comments board of an author that has like 100,000 followers would be really beneficial to you. I'm here to tell you it's not. People see that and they don't respect it. And if they do respect it, chances are they are also doing it and they're not interested in finding a story to read. They're interested in promoting their own story. Self-advertising is a bad look. It's just a bad look, and it's really frowned upon in the Wattpad community, so I would recommend not doing it. There are so many better ways to get reads on your story. If you are really looking to advertise your story, they have books that people make that are specifically for promoting your story. I just thought of another tip. I just thought of it on the fly, because big brain activity. Enter contests, enter awards. I'm not even talking about the ones that are run by Wattpad. I'm talking more about ones that are run in the Wattpad community. Enter those. Even if you don't think you're gonna win, enter it. If you do win, it looks great for your book and it's gonna get you reads. It is going to get you reads because the judges have to read it. And it's so fun. You know, that's another thing. It's not even just about the reads, it's just a good time. It gives you good feedback on your story. Do it. There's literally no downside.
Please send help. I cannot listen to this any longer. I'm begging you to free me from this prison.
Okay, 2 more tips that are sort of like a little bit of cheesing it. Like, it will feel less genuine this way, but it will boost your numbers probably. Number 1, make your chapters shorter, split them into more chapters. Bam. You get more reads. Because Wattpad counts a read per chapter. So, for example, my book that I'm working on right now is around 43 chapters. If I split those chapters in half, '86. If I split those chapters in half, bam, I would have 86 chapters. Hypothetically speaking, if before I posted that I was destined to get 2,000 reads on option A, then if I were to post option B, then I would get 4,000 reads because it's doubled. That's assuming that people stick around even with the shorter chapter length and like the weird breaks and everything. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing this unless it really makes sense for your story, because otherwise it can be a bit jarring. But yeah, books with more chapters tend to have a higher read count. So if you feel like cheesing it and you really just want a story that has like mega numbers, which I mean, I gotta stop smacking this thing. It's picking up on the mic. Try it out. And lastly, another thing that's sort of a little like, I don't want to say it's a cheat because it's not, but if you create a story that is not really a story, that's like a nonfiction thing, like, oh, funny astrology memes, those types of stories, because the chapters can be really short, the parts add up really quickly, and because it's not actually like a story and it's just a collection of funny things, people will click on them a lot if they're just looking for a quick dose of entertainment, and you can get reads pretty quickly with that type of thing. So if you want to maybe try to draw traffic to your profile that way, it might work. I am out of water and my mouth is dry. Okay, so those were my tips on how to get more reads on Wattpad. Let me know if you try them out. Let me know if you've tried them out and how they worked for you. And maybe leave a comment with your own tips for getting reads below for everybody else who wants to grow. That's the thing. While Wattpad is a competitive place and there's a lot of content on the platform, and it may feel like you're in a constant battle with every other writer to get people to read your story instead of theirs, there's room enough for everybody on the platform. Readers are always reading, they're always looking for new stories. I wouldn't have made this video if I felt like I was threatened by other writers who are trying to grow on the platform. I can get reads, you can get reads, they can get reads. So feel free to share your own tips in the comments, or just say whatever you want, because comments help me out. And feel free to comment what you would want me to cover next on Wattpad Wednesdays. Yeah, if you guys want to support me, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, stay tuned for more Wattpad Wednesdays, and I will see you in the next video, I hope. So does Naked Froggy. He hopes too. Please come back to see him. He needs friends. I'm his only friend. It's so embarrassing.
It's actually the other way around, but okay.